Life is a journey full of challenges. Every day we face worries, suffering, and a sense of incompleteness. But is there a path that can help us break free from suffering and find true peace? More than 2,500 years ago, in the land that is now Nepal, a man discovered the truth about suffering and the path to liberation. From that moment, the light of wisdom and compassion spread throughout the world, opening a new path for those seeking enlightenment. This is the story of the Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Listen to the following video to learn more about the journey to enlightenment, the origins of Buddhism. The one who discovered the truth around the 6th to 5th century BCE in ancient India, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama was born into wealth and royalty. He was the son of King Shuddhodana and Queen Maya. According to legend, at birth, Siddhartha displayed special signs and was prophesied to become either a great king or an enlightened being. However, fearing that his son would renounce the throne in search of liberation, the king kept Siddhartha confined within a luxurious palace, shielding him from the outside world. Despite living in great luxury, Siddhartha Gautama felt restless and longed to explore the world beyond the palace. On one of his rare excursions, he encountered three sights: a sick person, an old man, and a dead body. These experiences deeply moved him, making him contemplate the realities of life and its inherent suffering. Soon after, he saw an ascetic, which inspired him to renounce his royal life and seek answers to the profound questions of suffering and liberation. Siddhartha spent years practicing severe asceticism, trying various methods in his quest for truth, but none provided the ultimate solution to human suffering. Eventually, he abandoned extreme asceticism and instead meditated under a Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, present-day India. After 49 days of deep meditation, he attained enlightenment, nirvana, and became the Buddha, the fully awakened one, who discovered the path to liberation for all beings. The origins of Buddhism. The Buddha's enlightenment was not just a personal moment, but the beginning of a powerful spiritual tradition. After years of deep meditation and ascetic practice, he finally attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, realizing the ultimate truth of all things. From that moment, he became the Buddha, the fully awakened one. Following his enlightenment, he began his journey of teaching, spreading the truth about suffering, dukkha, and the path to its cessation. His teachings were structured into the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, forming the solid foundation of Buddhism. The Four Noble Truths. These are four fundamental truths about suffering and the path to liberation. Suffering, dukkha. Life is full of suffering: birth, aging, illness, death, sorrow, hatred, separation, etc. The cause of suffering, samudaya. Suffering arises from craving, ignorance, and attachment. The cessation of suffering, nirodha. Suffering can end by eliminating greed, anger, and delusion. The path to the cessation of suffering, magga. The way to end suffering is by following the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path. These 8 principles guide individuals toward enlightenment: right view, understanding the Four Noble Truths, impermanence, and non-self. Right thought, thinking truthfully, free from greed and hatred. Right speech, speaking truthfully, kindly, and avoiding lies or divisiveness. Right action, acting ethically, avoiding killing, stealing, or harming others. Right livelihood, choosing a profession that does not cause harm. Right effort, diligently cultivating good and avoiding evil. Right mindfulness, being fully aware of the body, mind, and emotions. Right concentration, meditating to develop wisdom and attain liberation. These teachings laid the groundwork for Buddhism, guiding countless individuals on their path to wisdom and inner peace. 3. The development and expansion of Buddhism. During his 45 years of teaching, the Buddha attracted thousands of disciples. After he entered nirvana, his teachings continued to spread and evolved into various schools, including Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana, which still have a profound influence today. Buddhism first flourished in India and gradually expanded throughout South Asia. After the Buddha's parinirvana, passing away, around 483 BCE, His disciples continued to spread his teachings, and Buddhism gradually developed into a major religion with a deep impact on cultures and societies across Asia and beyond. The spread of Buddhism. In the centuries that followed, Buddhism spread to many regions, including Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, Tibet, China, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. Today, Buddhism is divided into three major traditions. Theravada Buddhism, the teaching of the elders, primarily practiced in Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. Mahayana Buddhism, the Great Vehicle, widespread in China, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. Vajrayana Buddhism, the Diamond Vehicle, mainly practiced in Tibet, Mongolia, and parts of the Himalayas. Buddhism's influence continues to grow, shaping spiritual, philosophical, and cultural landscapes worldwide. How did Buddhism develop and spread across Asia? Buddhism became a major spiritual force that spread across Asia for centuries after its founding. Below, we will explore the role of Emperor Ashoka, the Silk Road, and Buddhist missionaries, as well as the development of Buddhism into different sects. Who helped spread Buddhism? One of the key figures in the spread of Buddhism was Emperor Ashoka of the Mauryan Empire. After witnessing the immense suffering caused by his military campaigns, Ashoka converted to Buddhism and became its most influential patron. His deep transformation and devotion led him to establish monuments, construct stupas, relic mounds, and inscribe edicts on pillars and rocks throughout his vast empire to promote the Buddha's teachings. He also sent Buddhist missionaries beyond India's borders to regions such as Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, and even Greek kingdoms in the West. The role of the Silk Road. The Silk Road also played a crucial role in spreading Buddhism. During the 1st and 2nd centuries CE, early Buddhist missionaries used these trade routes to establish Buddhist monasteries. As merchants traveled along these routes, they frequently interacted with Buddhist monks, offering gifts in exchange for spiritual guidance. These interactions helped spread Buddhist philosophy to previously untouched regions such as Myanmar, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Tibet, China, Korea, and Japan. By the 12th century CE, Buddhism had firmly established itself in most Asian countries, shaping their cultures, philosophies, and spiritual traditions. How did Buddhism divide into different sects? As Buddhism spread across Asia in the early centuries CE, it adapted to local religious and cultural contexts. This led to the development of three major traditions, each with multiple subschools. Theravada, sometimes referred to as Hinayana, Mahayana Vajrayana, also known as Tibetan Buddhism. Although all three traditions revolve around the goal of attaining nirvana, they differ in various aspects, including scriptures, teachings, and paths to enlightenment. Theravada Buddhism. Theravada, the oldest surviving school, originated in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Burma, and other parts of Southeast Asia. This tradition emphasizes the original teachings of the Buddha and follows the Pali Canon as its foundational scripture. Mahayana Buddhism. Meanwhile, in Central and East Asia, Mahayana Buddhism emerged, introducing new scriptures and the bodhisattva ideal, the concept of a being who seeks enlightenment not just for themselves but for all sentient beings. For example, when Mahayana Buddhism spread to China, it encountered influences from Taoism and Confucianism, leading to the development of Chan Buddhism, Zen in Japan, and Seon in Korea. This school emphasized meditation and direct personal experience of enlightenment. As Mahayana Buddhism traveled from China to Japan and Korea, it continued adapting to the local traditions of East Asian cultures. Buddhism is not just a religion, but also a way of life that helps people find peace and happiness in the present moment. When we live with mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, the challenges in life become lighter. Each day, if we take the time to return to ourselves, listen to our hearts, and practice loving kindness, the world around us will become more peaceful. Wishing you a mindful life and joy in every moment.